Okay, so today I will be teaching you how to use the distance and midpoint formula. But first, I will be teaching you the distance formula. And basically what it is and why it's important is because you're trying to find the distance between 2 points on a graph. And what I mean by that is there's going to be two coordinates and you're going to try to find the distance like between them. And so here's the formula, and the formula is d is equal to we have a radical, parentheses x2 minus x1, parentheses to the second, plus parentheses y2 minus y1 to the second. Okay, and the example we're going to be using is, the coordinates are going to be -1 and 4, and -3 and -4. And so the first step is identify x1, y1, and x2, y2. Okay, so now let's identify them. This is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and this is really easy because our second step, really, we're just going to plug it back into the formula. So plug back into formula. Okay, so which that's going to look like, okay, so it's going to be -3 minus -1 to the second plus -4 minus 4 to the second. Okay, so -3 minus -1 is equal to -2 plus, we don't forget the second that's up here, and then -4 minus +4 is going to be -8 to the second, and this equals +4 plus +64, which then equals 68. But don't forget that we have this right here. So the square root of 68 isn't like a whole number, because what I mean by that is, let's say you square root 64, that equals 8, and you can simplify it. But this one, it has a bunch of decimals behind it, so our answer is just going to be radical 68, and that's your answer. And that is the last step, and our last step is take the square root or leave as a radical, which is what we did. Okay, now the second thing I'll be teaching is how to find the midpoint. Now, what is that? So basically why this is important and why we do it is because we're trying to find the middle between 2 points. So there's going to be 2 coordinates on a graph, and you want to know what is the middle coordinate, like what is like in the middle of each one. An important note is that the answer will be a coordinate, and this is basically how you solve it. Whoops. Okay, and it's going to be m is equal to parentheses x1 plus x2 divided by 2 plus y1 plus y2 divided by 2 parentheses. Okay, and now give me 1 second. Okay, and so it's really the same steps as before. So it's going to be, oh, let me give you, okay, and the coordinates we're going to be using for the example is -1 and 8 and 7 and 3. Okay, and so the first step is identify x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. Okay, so now let's identify them. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and so our second step is going to be plugging them back into the formula. So plug back into formula. Okay, and so that's going to look like this. So it's going to be -1 plus 7 over 2 plus 8 plus 3 over 2. Okay, so our third step is we're going to add the terms. So add